Greetings. Welcome back to the Paden Full Podcast. I am your host, Mia, alongside my trusty, I'm looking at JP's face, my trusty husband.
Sidekick.
Trusty husband.
Engineer.
All of the above.
Background player.
That's fine. JP.
Really shouldn't be here.
He's a liar. He should be. I wouldn't be able to do this by myself. And we are a relationship podcast, which requires the model of a relationship. So you're going to stop making faces at me. Hello to our brand new listeners. If you've just happened upon our podcast, welcome. This is our 12th episode, our JP and Mia, as we've formally introduced ourselves. And we are a podcast focused in on relationships and marriage with little sprinkles of glittery family topics sprinkled in. We've been together for 16 years. I have been asked the question, how long have we been together? So not a lifetime quite yet, but we find ourselves in a place where we're very comfortable with openly talking about what works in our relationship, what works in relationships, other successful relationships around us. And so we want to impart just some good fortune and happiness on people in the world. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. How are you, JP?
I have no idea where I am right now.
What is happening? Did you lose your spot?
No, I'm
you
good. I'm just trying to figure out the world and my place in it right now.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. We have those soul-searching moments every now and then. So Mama's here to help. So, yeah.
Damn autocorrect. I keep saying I put in roles and they keep putting relationship ropes.
Oh, wow.
The hell is a relationship rope?
That might be a thing, though. Okay.
Go off, sis.
So today our conversation is going to steer towards the perceived roles in a relationship and in a marriage. And I mean perceived roles as in those more traditional gender roles that we tend to learn about as children growing up, especially within the 80s and 90s, which is where JP and I grew up, and how those roles can impact your relationship. And then we'll talk a little bit about how those roles actually look in marriage, and then how we can make more traditional roles, steer them more towards modern roles as opposed to those made only for men and women. So it's a heavy little topic today that we're going to explore, and we hope to infuse a little bit of humor in here. We don't want it to be too heavy and sound like psychologists. When we do topics like this, I do like to give the disclaimer that we are not diagnosing anything. We are not marriage counselors. We are not marriage professionals.
We have no idea what we're doing.
We just doing this for fun.
We are just two people who really like each other.
We are. Oh, babe. So we like to say, if you try anything that we are suggesting on the podcast, and it doesn't work out, please don't sue us because it's not our fault. We are just telling you what works for us and hoping that good things happen to you as well.
Some of this stuff don't be working. We be lying.
He's lying. Don't ignore him. So you make it sound like we be lying. We're not lying. We're very candid. Anywho, so let's get started. Yeah. You didn't say good morning to me.
Good afternoon.
See. Anywho, let's start it with the first. The first sort of point that we're going to explore. We're going to talk about. Let's start with just within us. We'll start within our relationship, and then we'll branch out to society because I think it's easier to go from small to big. So let's talk about let's see, how do I want to go this? Which direction we want to go into? How we run our home. Let's go from there first. And so for your, I want to hear from your point of view, JP, as to what are the roles, or what is the main role? Let's go there. Let's go. What is the main role that you play in our relationship, in our marriage right now? And was it always like that?
I am the warden of accountability.
Ooh, okay. Poetry in motion.
It's not all that, but
Nah, but it sounds really good. Okay, explain to me what that means.
kind of being the the moral compass of making sure that we are who we say we are. Always. Like I'm not going to try to portray to you something that I'm not, and I don't want that from you. 'Cause like I said, being accountable, with us being 600 miles away from anybody in our relationship, we have to do daily checks as far as making sure that we're doing what we have to do. Excuse me. Water. Water. Okay. No, just kind of just doing daily checks to making sure that we are on track as far as what it is we need to be doing, because we have such a small margin of error.
That we do. Like a lot of people in this country, when you go to college, generally people settle where they go to college, and now it's so expected that children go away to college, like go away, out of the state, away. So what happens is your family then gets stretched out across the country. And like most people, we don't have anyone we can just call on. We can't call on our mom and say, yeah, can you come over right now? Or we can't call on like my sister-in-law and say, hey, yeah, can you come over and watch the kids? Or can you come over and, help us do this? We don't have our village right there. So I like that you said a small margin of error, because if we do something and it impacts our family, it's totally our fault, because we are the models of life for our children and for our family sustainability. So I like that you use that term. That's pretty cool.
Does it make sense?
It does make sense. I would say my role right now, we'll say 2021 role as mommy and wife, is the Renaissance woman. So what that looks like is,
Rosie the maid. Go.
So anywho, what that looks like is I have to
Get her
be
of sodas.
Generally.
Grab her of chips.
You know what? I'm going to put JP out. I have to be up on all of the little bullet points in our day, and I have to ensure that our bullet points are met, because I feel as if I let something slide by, then something's not going to get done. And that's no knock on you. I feel like I'm supposed to be in the position to know when the kids have to bring a poster board to school, when Drew has a dentist appointment, when his play is in March, and what kind of plan we're going to make, what we're going to do when we go on vacation, right? And then it's, whatever I have on my job, and then whatever I have going on, with JP, and, if he has to go to a doctor's appointment or something. So it is it's a Renaissance sort of way, as in I have to be really good at a lot of different things. And I'll talk about in a little bit how heavy that can be at times. And I'll get JP to talk to me about that as well, because I really want to get into his brain about this. He said, the warden of accountability. So the moral compass, he's our leader. I call him the CFO of our marriage, of the family. He's our chief financial officer. JP makes the executive decisions in our marriage regarding, if we need to pay this bill off, or we need to get this, this credit thing going. He's the main reason why we have a house, because JP said he would undertake the financial responsibility of getting us ready to actually be able to afford a house. So he took that on. I wasn't a whole lot of help in that department. I was just like, okay, what do I need to do? But he's the chief financial officer, and I am his number two. Like if we were, what's the Austin Powers bad guy name?
Mini-Me. Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil, yep. Didn't Dr. Evil have a number two? And he had like an eye patch on. I'm your number two.
Number two.
Yeah, and he was number two. Yeah, his name was number two.
It was Mini-Me, but...
Well, Mini-Me was kind of a half. He wasn't a two.
Okay.
So I am JP's number two. I look at all the tiny details underneath the major decisions that he makes in order to ensure that we gonna be all right. So that's sort of how we run right now. And I think we didn't do this on purpose. I think it just kind of fell that way. with kids and us working and just sort of our natural way of falling, we didn't start off as saying, hey, it's going to be like this because you like to overdraft your account, so I need to take care of all the bills, right? Because
that had a part. That had a part of it.
I know, but still, but you didn't purposely say, I need to do this because you don't know what you're doing with money. So, yeah, and I didn't say, you can't remember what we gonna do. You can't plan a trip or something like that. We didn't say those things. So I'm just saying. And I like planning trips.
Insert gunshot right here.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that you did not just say. Anywho, we are not throwing jabs at one another. So because when we started, we were young, right? I was newly 20. Mm-hmm. So we didn't even have an understanding of our full identity yet. Like when I was 20, I didn't know who I was. And you had just turned 24, but we were still really young. You were just getting out on your own, thriving and trying to survive out here in the world. I was just like, hey, this little lady just landed in your life. And so we didn't start off. We probably had a lot of contentious moments that I don't think were probably verbalized, because you may have felt as if I was doing a certain thing and vice versa, and we just never really put it out there in the universe. Mm-hmm. So now that we're older and we've been together so long and we know each other, now we can be like, no, I don't like that. Let's do something different. Or I need your help. Or, some of those other things that couples talk about. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, all right. So that's us. So let's do a series of do you think it's fair kind of questions, because I want to dig into your brain a little bit.
I got actually,
you have some?
I got actually an article.
What you got?
That I'm looking at. It's from hernorm.com.
Okay.
It's an article written by Sonia Schwartz, whatever. Okay. But it's called the Roles of a Man in a Relationship, 11 Important Roles.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm going to kind of ring those off.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I kind of agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that I have a semi issue with, but you just let me know what you think and chime in, because I think that this should apply to both. I don't know who Peter Wall is calling me right now. I'm potting. Sorry. Okay.
Sorry, Peter.
You're all right,
Not
Peter.
right now.
I don't know any Peters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, this is the 11 roles men must assume in relationships.
Okay. Rope them off for me.
So the first one I kind of get, and like I said, this applies to both actually, but it said that he should be responsible. Kind of goes without saying.
Okay.
Number 2, he should work hard. This is one I have an issue with, because I should not necessarily have to break my back to show that
you're
that I'm the leader. I always prefer to work smart,
not hard,
and tactically.
Okay.
I'm never gonna work hard.
And hard is subjective. Yeah. Some people's hard is not somebody else's hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a plan for everything. So.
I like working smart. Okay.
Yeah. Number 3, he should be a provider. Pete with Aero Exterminators, why are you contacting me on a Sunday? Let's continue. But yes, he should be a provider.
He should be a provider.
He should be a provider.
And that's going to get into who's the breadwinner, but okay. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4, he should respect her. She should respect him.
Absolutely. Okay. It goes both ways. That's
number
right.
4.
Okay.
Again, this is both ways. He should love her. What's the point of being in a relationship if you don't love that person?
I know.
Don't waste your time. He should love her. She should love him. If not, keep it pushing.
That's right. Okay. People do it every day, though, unfortunately.
This one,
Just the one.
no, it's not for me. It's
Okay.
just in general with people, especially how the world is now with everything being so microwave. You got access to everything in the palm of your hand. Because I'm actually going to start saying they rather than he and she. They.
Right. That feels better.
They should commit fully.
They should commit fully.
Yeah. That's good. Ideally in a perfect world, but
You mean like the everybody giving 100% every day,
yeah.
and you can't do 100 every day.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
like I said, this don't apply to us because I'm in with this. I get this, but like I'm just saying with the way that the world is now, where you can have an argument with your girl and 5 minutes later you on Instagram. So it's matter.
Yeah, he ain't shit. Yeah. All right.
They should support you.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
they should support you.
Yeah, you should
So-
feel some level of support. Absolutely.
or at least have a open line of communication as far as why the lines may be blurred or crossed.
Why does it seem like right? Okay. I got you.
Number 8, they should be a good lover.
Uh-oh, there they go. I knew it was. I said sex is going to be on this list somewhere. I think that you have to be some type of physically attracted to your partner, something, because physicality and intimacy is a big part. If you think he ugly, then sweetie, that money going to run out.
And the same thing, like I said, you have the world in the palm of your hands.
Exactly.
So I see that, but, and
We might not be the end all be all.
those blue pills and Hennessy. So
Hennessy. Okay.
they should add value to your life.
Agree.
I see that.
100. If I can get higher than 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 10. And this would be more so this would lean more towards the men. It says he should protect you physically and emotionally.
Okay.
It's still both, but I'm not asking you to get into no boxing matches for me. I get it. So yeah.
Okay. Emotional support more for the women because
Yeah.
women often don't emotionally support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you already know I'm go at a drop of a dime
I
if
know.
it come to it, so I don't play. Number 11. He should be able to make tough decisions.
He should be able to make tough decisions with the assistance of his partner. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has. I think. He needs to be in a position where he can say, "Okay, we gonna go do this," just like what you do for us.
Yeah. So that's it. So that, like, again, that was The Roles of a Man in a Relationship by Sonia Swartz on hernorm.com.
Okay, that's pretty solid stuff. Of course, there's always gray area in any list that seems like that. The lover one, she's a woman, coming from a woman's point of view. Women, we want to feel secure. We want to feel loved. We want to feel, sissy. So if our partners are good lovers, then that enforces the fact that I feel sissy.
Bang,
So
bang, bang, skeet, skeet, skeet.
pretty
Bang, bang,
much. So yeah, some of those are really, really okay. Are really
Yeah, so
on
I
point.
get it. The only one that was really kind of a gray area for me was the I have to work hard.
That work hard thing, because then it answers the question of, should the man be in charge of bringing in all the money? So that goes into that conversation. So is it the man's responsibility to make more money than a woman in a relationship? And now, of course, with gender being as fluid as it is in marriage, same-sex marriages, we'll say the more masculine partner, is it their job to ensure that they are making more money than the more feminine partner? Because that is a part of one of the traditional gender role things that I found online. that has ultimately hit a lot of people the wrong way and has caused a lot of divorce because the man is like, hey, or the more masculine partner is like, hey, I'm supposed to be making more money. You can't make more money than me. I'm thinking of Lance in The Best Man and his extremely macho attitude and his really, really home down idea that Mia, his wife, was supposed to be home barefoot and pregnant all the time, and essentially that's what she ended up doing because they popped out 4 kids real quick, and he was out there bringing in the dough because he was a professional football player and he hit people for a living.
A lot of that was insecurity on his part.
Well, we found that out later
because of his cheating. So that was his kind of his way of keeping tabs on her
keeping tabs on her. So
because she had potential, especially in college. She had potential to do more than what she did, but
she was really smart. She was a writer.
That's why he went so hard to do what he could so that he could take that off of her and keep his eyes on her because of all the dirt he did.
I think a lot of men. Do you think a lot of men do that? Because I hear a lot about, oh, my man don't want me doing that, or I have to ask my man for permission to do that. And
I would honestly say no.
You don't think a lot of men have that attitude?
No.
Do you think they used to and it's changed? What do you think? Do you think like the rules have just kind of become more modernized as time has gone on? Or do you think that
I honestly can't speak on it because I'm just more modern and more progressive, but if that's how what their upbringing was of that's what they were supposed to do, then yeah.
And here's mine. I grew up in Virginia. We're near all the bases, naval bases, Air Force bases. I'm an Air Force baby. My dad was in the Air Force Reserve most of my childhood, and so I knew I went to school with a lot of kids who are military kids. Like, you just make friends all the time, and then your friend leaves because their parents had to be restationed. So I knew a lot of kids who used to say that their dads, when their dad came home, they had to get his slippers and his newspaper, put it on his seat because that's where he's coming in and he's sitting down. And we talking about 95, 96. All right. Dad come in, you got to get him his beer, get him his newspaper, and get his slippers. And so like a couple of friends just off my head, because I just remember this girl so vividly from middle school who would say, hey, if I wasn't there to get my dad his stuff, then he would fuss at me because it was expected that when he got home, he got his newspaper, his beer, and his slippers, and he went and sat in his chair. Mama made dinner. Mama put dinner on that table. Dinner had to be there at 6:30, 7 o'clock. When he got home, he went to go eat, and then he went to go watch the game. And she said that was her interaction with her dad her whole life. That's what was expected because that was the role. And then, of course, she learned later that that's how she has to be subservient to her boyfriend or her future husband because that's what she saw that was right for her. And so that very, very macho attitude, the traditional, the man does this, the man is the breadwinner, therefore the man can do what he wants. That is, I think, still sticks around, but I don't think people talk about it a lot. So, and it's sad because it really messes up, especially little girls. It messes up their heads and it makes them think that that's normal. And it's not normal. It's not normal, right? So I'm going to get back to a series of do you think it's fair kind of questions. Well, we'll start with the first one since we're on the topic. Do you think it's fair to men to be expected to make all the money?
No, and statistically, women are more highly educated than men. So generally, there's that gender gap that happens with the pay discrepancies between females and men. But with women being more educated, there's a better chance that she will get a higher paying job. So I wouldn't think that's fair.
And I agree. I remember we talked about this, but it's been since like 2008. It's been a minute when I was getting my master's degree. And I think like we were watching something on TV and you had asked, you were saying like, you were joking like, hey, you know, now you can make the money and I don't have to work as hard. So
joke.
No, but I remember it because that was the first time I had thought about the fact that it didn't bother me if I would be the one making more money, because at the time I had more education, like you said. And so I was like, hey, you know, I'm gonna be a sugar mama. I'm gonna make sure my husband is straight. And I still feel that way. I don't feel as if it's fair to men to have to make money because they are men or the more masculine partner. So I don't believe in that at all. So I guess we call us progressives, right?
Sure.
Do you think it's fair for, let me see. I'm trying to stay on the men's side for a second before I hop over to the lady side, because it's going to just deep dive from there. Do you think it is fair that the perception of men is that he's the head of the household? Do you think that is a fair label, that he must be the head of the household? He must be the one who puts his foot down and makes the major decisions, the executive decisions. Because
that's a tough one.
Yeah. And here's what I'm thinking of while you're thinking. I'm thinking about all of us who were raised by single mothers. You know, I have a ton of students. They, you know, it's not their fault. They never met their dad. Their dad just, you know, sperm donor. So
and that's me. That's me in a nutshell, basically. Like I said, I was pretty much raised by my mother and my sister, basically. So yes. It depends. I think it's a better to have that conversation about who would make the final say. And I think the level of conversation and communication and more education as far as what's best for the family. It shouldn't matter who it comes from. It shouldn't be just one person saying this is how it's going to be, and that's it. And that's what happens is when we see those kind of families or those kind of relationships, the man is usually the one who's this is what we're going to do, now live with it. And it's, you know, it pretty much negates all the people out here who were raised by really strong, wonderful mothers. We had a president who was raised by his single mother, and he became the president, and not only just the president, the first, you know, African-American president. So it negates all of the work that they do every day. And I don't like that. It just puts it just puts an unnecessary mental burden on yourself. Yeah. Because what if that decision that you made is the wrong one? And then you just fall into you fall into a series of bad decisions
to try to fix it.
Yeah.
And you gambling and you trying to get it right and get it right and get it right, and you steadily getting it wrong. Yeah. And then a lot of men in the past have just gone away from the family. Some of my kids are like, yeah, my dad went to the store, never came back. Right?
That doesn't happen.
My student said that. My dad left, and I don't know where he went. He was supposed to come back and pick me up, and he never picked me up.
That never happens. That's just the ignorance of children.
You don't know that. I believe some of these children.
There were more signs. Before that.
But if they were like 6 years old, that's what they remember.
It falls into the ignorance of children.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they're 6, then they know that daddy went to the store, and if it's a story that their mother kept saying that, yeah, your daddy just went to the store and never came back, then that's not their fault.
All right, man.
So there you go. So I'm gonna come back to the fair questions in a moment. I'm gonna hop over to the women's side and the roles that women have traditionally played in marriage and relationships, and what it looks like now. Because I'm also on a handy website here. This is dated 2018, so it's a little back a little bit, but there are 2 writers here. They are Indonesian, but they have names that I cannot pronounce, so I'm not going to try it. But it's on the website called The Conversation, and the article is called The Secret to a Happy Marriage, Flexible Roles. So they're already telling us where they're going. And it looks as if, I think it's a male and a female. So first they started off saying that there are three major reasons why people file for divorce. And that is marital disharmony. That's irreconcilable differences, right? Responsibility. I'm not sure what they mean by that. And money problems. And they said that usually women are twice as likely as men to seek a divorce. And they said that the idea is that it has a lot to do with gender inequality in the relationship. I'm like, women are twice as likely to institute divorce. So I said, let me scroll down more. So it says women's multiple roles. I'm just kind of read a few of these because it's a bunch of it. And this is, again, traditionally what it has been. Not so much now, but let's see. Women have assumed most of the responsibilities of daughters, wives, mothers, workers, members of society. She is expected to serve her husband, prepare food, prepare clothing and other personal needs, taking care of her parents, especially if she is the oldest girl. She has to take care of her children as a mother and their needs, including education. And then as a worker, she has to be professional, disciplined, and a good employee. She is expected to participate in the community and in volunteer work. And then they said on the other side, men traditionally have one role, which is the family's breadwinner. So, and then they go on into talking about how happiness is found when the roles in a relationship are a lot more flexible, as opposed to the woman doing all of this stuff over here, and the man is just coming home and sitting down and drinking his beer, right? And so I wanted to get into what makes it heavy for me as a woman is the expectation. It's the expectation. It's only expectation. I know expectation is invisible.
Where do you feel it comes from? Society. It's everybody on the outside. And the perception, like I get stuck in the idea of the optics, I guess, what it looks like. So let me give you an example. When I went on bed rest with Drew, that was week 32, something around in there, 32 weeks in pregnancy. I had to go on bed rest because my blood pressure was shot. Like it was just all over the place. So they said, hey, you got to go to bed. I struggled with the idea that I have to be home and not be able to monetarily provide and help my husband. Like I struggle with the idea that I have to sit here while my husband is out working. I can't go out and make money to help him. Was that ever expressed to you?
It was never expressed to me, but it came from somewhere. And I don't know. That was, I think, the first time I thought about whether or not I could survive being a stay-at-home mother. Like not survive, but I mean in terms of mentally, if I could handle stay-at-home mommy and not be able to work in the workforce. Because then on the other side, I'm in the workforce every day. I have guilt that my child has to stay at school till almost 6 o'clock because I don't get off until 4:45-ish, 5 o'clock-ish, and I can't get to school that fast. So I have the guilt on that side that I'm leaving my babies to somebody else, essentially not to raise, but to watch on their, the time that they get paid. I have that guilt that I can't spend as much time with our kids as I want to. So it's a trap. Like it's a real life, like consortium of conflict, because it's on one side, I'm supposed to be at home and taking care of my babies and running my household and making sure that my house not burning down and taking care of my husband and making sure that he's happy, in the bedroom, out of the bedroom, happy period, because I want to be married. And yet I need to make money because if not, I'm looking like I'm just living off of his check. And if I'm not providing for myself, then I don't look like I'm a member of society, that I can't function. So it's a heavy little burden. And I'm a black woman. So it becomes a whole nother level
it
of.
depends on how you look at it.
I know. I'm struggling with it.
It's not necessarily a burden. It's more so an awareness. And one of the good things is if you find somebody who is on that same wavelength with you, because that's kind of how I feel about with what's going on with me, because I always want to make sure that I'm not missing out on anything as far as with you and the kids. And I have to have that realization that sometimes it's okay to actually leave some money on the table, because that extra money that I could get, it's being paid off in enrichment of my kid's life. So that I'll get that investment later by the time that I'm spending with them. So it's more so just having an awareness. Like I said, you want to try to do everything and be perfect, but it's just not going to happen. So you just have to put a value on what's important to you, and just stick with your guns on stuff like that.
Yeah. And I know those things, and I try to remind myself, because I'll just be like, okay, snap out of it. Like, stop being guilty. They are fine. They're at school. They're playing with their friends. And then I pick them up, right? And they talk about, they were on the slide and holding on each other's shoulders and going down the slide together. And, mommy, we went and we played Minecraft on the computer. So they talk about how all the fun they had. And I'm like, man, if I was home all the time, I could actually see that. But I have to be at work because I need to help provide for my household, because we have all these financial goals we're trying to meet. So it's a lot. I hear that, like, that mommy guilt never goes away. They say you can be grown with grandkids on the way, and you will still have mother guilt about things from when they were children. And, in essentially 10 years, we'll have an 18-year-old in the house. Like 10, that's it. So I know that the things that I am building in them right now are going to be the things that they remember. And they said it's not always about quantity, but it's about quality, right? So if I come home and I check everything at the door and I don't work on anything, and I'm there just laughing with them because they get real goofy and we just start laughing. They are so funny. Then I know that's quality, and not just, they're not going to remember that, oh, mommy wasn't there. They're going to remember, hey, mommy was laughing with us and she was tickling us and that was funny. So that's what I try to do to get myself out of the idea that I may be missing my children because I'm working. Because when I was home with them, we were quarantined for 15 months straight. I was like, oh my God, I'm having too much home.
Trying to choke them out.
It was fine for the first 6 months. The rest of those months, y'all, woo. And they were going, but I got to really learn about them because I saw things like with Jai. I really learned a lot about Jai that I really even have seen because I've only seen them 3 hours on weekdays. So it's a lot. It's heavy. And then, the societal idea that I have to take care of everything. I like doing it to a point, but then sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could just find somebody to cook for me. Or, man, I wish I can just find somebody to just clean this house because I need help, which I've looked for and found. So,
and that's nothing.
Yeah. What? No, you say it. Say what's on your mind. Well, with the house, let me go in the house because I know it's a thing that JP won't talk about. He won't tell me.
300.
It's not 300.
Minus 25.
That was just the initial, babe. It's
That's
not the monthly.
Even worse. We that nasty?
No. Because they clean things they won't clean on the monthly. They cleaned our baseboards and dusted.
Between the cleaners and Pete, y'all got it coming. So Pete better not call me.
Here's the thing with
Sundays.
the cleaning. I know. But when I can come home and I don't have to clean, it is another level of relaxation for me, and it helps me be a better person because I don't have to pick up and be rosy like you've seen me be rosy around the house. I don't have to do that every night because that's wearing me down. Because your kids, Drew is absent-minded, so he can't necessarily help that he don't remember where his stuff is because he just drags stuff. Jai, she just, she's Jai, and she's 5. So I don't want to be Mo from Wall-E every night. I only want to have to do it in between the time the cleaners are coming. So, and I know it's a money thing, but I felt as if we were in a better position to be able to handle the money thing now than we've been ever before.
You pay me that, I'll wear some tight Levi's and a flannel and get a duster and a vacuum.
That's not what he wore.
And I'll clean this bitch from top to bottom.
But I feel like if you don't have to because you work 2 jobs.
I have room for a third.
Nope. Because then you'll be worn down and you won't be able to perform in our lives.
Perform.
See, he's not taking me seriously. We're having a live marriage counseling session and you are not taking me seriously.
I'm taking you very seriously. I hear you.
I'm hoping that
I see you.
That we don't have to worry about Are you listening?
I am.
Okay. I don't want us to have to worry about cleaning our house. I want us to come home after school and be with the kids because that's what's important. And of course, with me, I am having to learn how to leave work at home. Leave work at the school building and not bring it home because that's another thing. That's a whole nother. Right now, I'm at the end of this hump. So I can leave work at school and not have to come home and do work, and we can be a family. We've been planning little trips on the weekends. We've been doing stuff with the kids, and that's what I want us to do, and not mommy having to clean up or daddy having to clean up. I think that we are in the financial position to be able to have that done for us and us not have to worry about it.
If a twerk goes unnoticed, did it really happen?
I don't know if
this girl been trying to start a twerk page for like 6 months and it's not working. So
is she your friend?
She I guess.
Oh, she's your friend. Well, then she didn't twerk.
Okay. Just LIG.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So do you hear me about the cleaning?
I heard every word.
Okay. That's I want to be heard. That's it. Okay. We don't have to agree about it. It's just going to continue because I need the help, and I don't want to fall on you. I don't want what I can't do to fall on you. Mm-hmm. That's not fair. So it's not fair, and you're not because I need you healthy. Johnny gonna live to be 120, and I need him to do that. So yeah. With his 50 beat per minute heart rate. So he has to outlive me. So,
get back on track now.
I am.
Come on, Ernie. Come on, Ernie.
All right, Shaq. So do you think it's fair that women are expected to take care of the children?
Do I think it's fair?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did you just answer or what?
Oh, no. I was saying yes. I was confirming. Confirming that's what I asked. Yeah.
No, it's not fair. It's not fair. But there again, there is that natural slant that children are automatically going to slant towards the mother. So that's part of the pressure that comes along with that. Mm-hmm.
You're not lying. Yeah. And yeah, I push the kids on you. I'll be like, ask daddy. Daddy's standing right there. And I think just the bond, because the child has been, part of you.
They came out of you.
They came out your body, And even with, I think, adopted children, it's still the slant towards the mother, because women or the more feminine partner have been known to be more nurturing, and dads or the more masculine partner tend to be less nurturing. And I think
tell them to rub some Robitussin on it.
Right. I think Sprite. The kids recognize that my mommy will baby me a little more, and daddy just gonna tell me to go suck it up. So, and that's not always true, because JP has this really cute way of like rubbing the kids' boo boos, and they be like giggling, and he does this really fast like rubbing motion that the kids love. But
it's the Native American style.
is it? Of
They called it maize.
See, he getting into something else. So I don't think that it's exactly fair. I think it's just part of the bond that children have with a mother, that they have a different one with dad. And then they also say that the mother, or the more, feminine partner, is the disciplinarian, and the dad is like, fun, let's jump on him, yay, daddy's home. So I don't think that's fair either, but that's a whole nother pot. So so yes. So what can we do to ensure that our relationship and our marriage and our family life is as modern as possible, and not as those sticklers to those traditional roles? Because I can imagine that in a lot of households, those traditional roles get us in trouble, right? Depending on preconceived notions, upbringing, environmental factors. If you think a certain way, firstly, you got to talk about this stuff before you get married in depth, repeatedly, to make sure that your partner is on you and y'all on one page. But the other thing is making sure that you're living the life that you want to live, and you're not being forced to do something you shouldn't have to do. So that's important. I was going somewhere, but I think I lost my train. My train just left the station.
Smoke weed every day.
Nope, I do not smoke. I have never smoked. Thank you very much. Lungs are beautiful. Okay. In my little article that I have, it says flexible roles bring marital happiness. And they said people who have more flexible roles in their relationships said that they were very happy, as opposed to just happy in marriage. It's like 54% versus 45%. And they says the more flexible that a male and female partner can be, the more, the happier they generally are, and not just in the marriage, but also outside the marriage. So millennials, us, we are millennials. I'm a proud millennial. Sorry, I'm a product of my generation.
You're geriatric.
We're geriatric millennials. We were born in the Johnny's more the early 80s. I was born in mid 80s, and they call us geriatric. Oh my God!
You're not mid. Five is mid.
5 is mid. Well, I think 4 to 6 is mid.
No.
Oh my God. Anyway, so they say millennials, the millennial generation is dynamic, non-fixed, and non-rigid. So we're the ones who now have children or young children in school. And so we're redefining what marriage should be in our current century, in our current time. So they're saying, be like millennials, be non-rigid and non-fixed, and you'll be happier in your relationship. So flexibility is key, so these writers say.
Understood.
Yes. Do we agree with these writers?
Sure.
I agree. A husband no longer has to earn more money than his wife. That's very great. Great to know. Because I think we've gone back and forth a little bit. I don't know. I think we kind of neck and neck now. So, which is fine. It's more money in the bank for everybody.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't, because it's all one bank account. It's one set of credit cards. It's one set. I mean, we have everything together. And as long as the bills are paid, it doesn't matter from whose side it's from.
How do you feel about separate bank accounts?
All right, so I always do the pros and cons of that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so if I have a separate bank account from you, I would be able to see.
Why would you have a separate bank account from me?
In my experience, well, this is not anybody I know who's my age. Most people I know now have shared. But older people have said that it's been because them and their partner have decided to take certain bills and pay them out of certain accounts. And so if he's responsible for paying like the rent, then she would pay all the utilities and the phone bill, and he would pay the car note, and she would pay, whatever the other bills that they have. So they were separating their bills according to which side they wanted it to come out of. In some cases, I've seen that the man pays all the bills and the woman just has this side account where she's just, I don't know, spending money out of. I don't know what that side money does. So the pros in that is you get more freedom within, quote unquote, your money, which is not even a thing. Like, it's our money if we're married, but okay. And then the con, of course, is what are you doing with your bank account? Like, what are you doing with your money? And what am I not doing?
So your money is your money.
And my money is it goes to the bills.
My money.
Your money is your money and my money is my money. That's the antiquated ideal for bank accounts. And I think that did that when banking became a thing and people started getting bank accounts. It's just like, no, it's not like filing taxes. No, that's a whole different thing. We file taxes jointly or separately because of different things. But people, I think, had separate bank accounts because certain bills were coming out of certain accounts. That's what I want to maintain. I don't know if it's exactly true. We'd have to ask someone why right now, they have a separate bank account from their spouse. So, unless you got Swiss bank accounts and you harboring some money over there, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't believe in a separate bank account because I don't have anything to hide. Like, I'm not spending money. Not to say that people who have separate bank accounts are hiding money. Please don't get me wrong. I'm saying that I don't have anything that I need to purchase outside of what I want my husband to see. Like, I'm not buying diamonds or anything. So JP sees all the food I eat.
She paid for them cleaners.
JP sees all the, whatever little trinkets and stuff I buy. He sees the stuff I buy for my students at school. So JP sees my spending. So I don't have a reason to get a separate bank account so that he can't see my spending because it's all one big bank. So I did, yes. So we're not going to go back in the cleaners. That is unresolved. I need you to resolve your ideas, because I have made it clear why I think having the cleaners is the best idea right now. We can cancel it anytime. But right now, for me...
Cancel.
He's being...
That shit's done, son.
He's being an Xennial. He's being a Generation X right now. And being rigid and not flexible in his thinking. So anywho, they say that the men are the head, but the women are the neck. I learned that in a movie, and that the neck can turn the head.
I thought it was the heart.
No, women are the neck. So, and the neck can turn the head any way she wants. Eventually, the neck, the head has to follow the neck, and I am your neck.
'Cause she got that thing.
Anywho, so
That thing, big thing, yeah.
Help us, Father. So, anywho, do you have any lasting ideas about traditional gender roles, how to modernize them? How do you modernize traditional roles? Like, do you have to... I think there is a conversation to be had.
There's no such thing as traditional roles.
Yeah. Roles that we grew up with. Because some of us have grown up with some roles. Like, I now that I'm older, I think I had some roles that were inadvertently taught to me that I can't go with now, being married with children.
Teach your kids to do whatever it takes to make sure that they're happy and fulfilled in life. Mm-hmm. So if that involves you being a stay-at-home dad, be a stay-at-home dad.
Right.
Be a good one.
Yeah.
But don't pigeonhole yourself like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna be the best at what I am. Hey, if I'm a stay-at-home mama, I'm gonna stay at home and this house gonna be straight. This thing gonna run like a factory. So yeah, I say be the best at what you are.
And my daughter's a thug, so
yeah. She's not gonna do any of that. She's not gonna play any of that. She don't play any of that now at 5. We already can see Jai at 25 how she'll be. Drew Bear, he might be a little more like, oh, okay. He might be a little more bendable because he's more easygoing. Jaima, Jaima is you said a thug. She gangster. So she'll be like, shut up. This is what I say. And I'm gonna be like, oh my God, you slapped him?
Ain't gonna be none of that.
I don't know.
I do. Ain't gonna be none of that.
So, and we have a boy and a girl. And so we need to teach them the same. I know some people say you have to raise a girl differently than a boy. I don't believe that's 100% true. I mean, there are some things that you must teach a boy that you don't need to teach a girl. But I think that because they're brother and sister, they're going to know anyway. So we might as well pretty much teach them on an even about, things. If I'm teaching Jai how to make eggs, I'm teaching Drew. If I'm teaching Jai how to fold a towel, I'm teaching Drew, so that he doesn't go around thinking that only girls clean up. At the same time, if I'm teaching Drew how to check your oil in your car, or if Daddy's teaching him how to shave, Jai needs to be standing there looking at you, teaching him how to shave. It is what it is. Like, there's nothing wrong with her knowing, hey, look, Drew has a mustache and look at how it's coming off. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. They got to learn about the other gender. And so we're going to be teaching them pretty much on an even. So Drew needs to know about Jai and her body so that he can understand girls. So when he goes in middle school, he won't be wondering why this little girl just screamed at him. He'd be like, oh, maybe I should buy her some chocolate because I think she's having a monthly. So I'm going to be like, yes, get her a piece of chocolate, buddy, and tell her everything's going to be okay. And just leave her alone for the next 4 days. So, yeah, that's what I dream about for our babies. So, yeah. What else you got over there?
That's it.
Anything else? I'm trying to think. Anything else we want to talk about? So, this has been an enlightening conversation. We've gotten to talk about some really deep gender roles and relationships, and how detrimental they can be or how helpful they can be, and how that translates to family, and how those gender roles move generation to generation, and how sometimes we got to just change some things that we know about, right? That we have to do some things that are different than what we grew up with. And so I think that's just part of growing up and doing some adulting. So yeah, do we have a quote that we want to kind of end with? What we got today? I think that's
do
it.
the quote. You got it.
You want me to do the quote?
You do the quote, because I just got something to say.
Mm-hmm. Well, you say what you try to say, and then we'll end with the quote. What you got?
Pete, my business hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Oh my God. And because it's Sunday.
Don't call my goddamn phone on no Sunday about no damn pest control service.
Is he supposed to come tomorrow? Is that what it is?
He ain't supposed to be doing nothing. He trying to find. Okay, continue. Go to your quote.
Okay.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible
Jesus
tells
loves the little
me
children.
so.
That's precious. We can go with that. Jesus loves the little children. Mm-hmm. Or we can say, you can always gain love by giving love. And love doesn't necessarily look like kissing, hugging, the more traditional things. It could also look like cleaning the house. It can look like checking on your partner during the day, making them dinner. All those things are giving love. So you can gain love by giving love.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And also, shout out to the Underground Shuffle podcast. Check them out. They play some dope music, including mine every now and then. My little big brother, Denario Moore, fitness trainer extraordinaire.
Yes.
He's actually kicking my ass virtually. I don't know how he's doing that 600 miles away, but yeah, so he's helping me get to a weight that I haven't been to in 14 years. So much love to him.
Yes. Shout out. Thank you all for listening to our podcast. And thank you to those who are following us, who are learning about us, who are enjoying our podcast. We can be reached on all of the major social media channels: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and at padenfullpod@gmail.com. That's padenfullpod@gmail.com. We welcome all ideas, especially ideas for new shows, your opinions about our shows. As long as you're nice to us, then we will respond back. If we don't respond right away, give us about 48 hours because we are busy working adults with children, but feel free to contact us. So we thank you all, and pass us along to a friend, and we'll be back with a new episode shortly.
Peace.
Bad words, I hate it here, but it's like I'm following a pun. It's comedy, long run, tragedy, funny, demanding, undone. Canker sore, annoying, but it's not all good. Frankly, disrespectful. Death is deeply distressing. Man is energetic, monumental. We walk in its shadow and it knows it tries to kill my vibe. Tries to promise an aunt, granny, unsubscribe, can't decide whether I'm here to make a difference or just killing precious time. When love is an antidote, but the world gives a paradigm. Sometimes it's not even that we know we gotta go home one day. It's the sudden we fear, the daily words we should but don't say. The unknown so scary, belief in the sun of springtime and the winter of all this madness.
In the first 48 words of subject, predicate, and verb occurred. Speech slightly slurred, pressure pinching the nerves. Repeat what was heard, nonsense, make common sense. Keep the drama, I'ma miss my life. I kick the bucket list. They say I did.
That's what the people say.
Yeah, I did the shit. That sound like JP preaching to his pulpit. It's better to embody it and be the bad guy. Old rap guy, now he's clinging to his ninth life. Scarlett Johansson mic, sweetest thing when I write. Shoot a beam of light to the sky, ask Jesus why. They took my mama, took my cousin, took my homies, yo. There has to be a reason, shit, I guess I'll never know.